I hope you do not mind if I quote a passage of the Kings. It is said that when the king of Syria was about to declare war on Israel, there was a great honorable man at his court, a leper, whose name was Naaman. A young girl of Israel, who had been captured by the Syrians and had become his slave, said to him, "If my Lord went to the prophet who is in Samaria, he would certainly cure him of his leprosy." Upon hearing that, Naaman asked the king's leave and followed the girl's advice. But the king of Israel was greatly irritated and said, "Am I perhaps God that the king of Syria should send invalids to me? This is a trap to make war against us." But when the prophet Elisha was informed of the incident, he said, "Let the leper come to me and I will cure him, and he will know that there is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman went to Elisha. But Elisha did not receive him. He only sent word to him, "Wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan and you will be cleansed." Naaman got angry, because he thought he had gone such a long way for nothing, and indignant as he was about to leave. But his servants said to him, "He only asked you to wash yourself 7 times, and even if he had ordered you to do much more, you should have done it, because he is the prophet." Naaman then surrendered. He went, washed himself and was cured. Overjoyed, he went back to the servant of God and said to him, "Now I know the truth, there is no other God on the whole earth. There is only the God of Israel." And since Elisha would not accept any gift, Naaman asked him to be allowed to take as much soil as would enable him to make sacrifices to the true God on soil of Israel. "I know that you do not all approve of what I have done. I also know that I am not obliged to justify myself with you. But since I love you with true love, I want you to understand my gesture and learn by it, so that all feelings of criticism and scandal may vanish from your souls. We have here 2 subjects of a pagan country. One of them was ill, and they were told by a relative, certainly through the words of an Israelite, if you went to the Messiah of Israel, he would cure the sick man. And they have come home from very far. Their confidence was greater than Naaman's, because they knew nothing of Israel and the Messiah, whereas the Syrian, being of a nearby country and in continuous touch with the slaves of Israel, already knew that God is in Israel, the true God. Is it not right therefore that a pagan may now go back to his fatherland and say, there is truly a man of God in Israel, and they worship the true God in Israel? I did not say, wash yourself 7 times. But I spoke of God and their souls, 2 things with which they were unacquainted and which bring the 7 gifts, like inexhaustible sources. Because the plants of faith, hope, charity, justice, temperance, strength, prudence grow where there is the concept of God and of the Spirit, and a desire to reach them. Such virtues are unknown to those who, from their gods, can only copy common human passions, increased in licentiousness, as pertaining to alleged supreme beings. They are now going back to their country. But rather than the joy of having been granted their request, there is the joy of being able to say, we know that we are not brutes, and that beyond this life there is a future. We know that the true God is bounty. And he therefore loves us, too, and he helps us to persuade us to go to him. And do you think that they are the only ones to ignore the truth? A short while ago one of my disciples thought that I could not cure the sick man, because he had a pagan soul. What is a soul? From whom does it come? A soul is the spiritual essence of man. It is the being, created of a perfect age, which invests, accompanies, vivifies the whole life of the flesh and continues to live. When the flesh no longer exists, because it is immortal like him who created it. God. As there is only one God, there is no such thing as souls of pagans or of non-pagans created by different gods. There is only one power that creates souls, and that is the power of the Creator, of our one, only, powerful, holy, good God, with no other passion but love, perfect charity, a completely spiritual charity, which I call also a completely moral charity, in order to be understood by these Romans. Because the concept of spirit is not understood by these little children who know nothing of the holy words. Do you think that I have come only for Israel? I am the one who will gather all races under one pastoral staff, the heavenly one. And I solemnly tell you that the time will soon come when many heathens will say, let us have that much that will enable us to consummate sacrifices to the true God, to the one and trine God in our pagan land. I am the word of that true God. They are now going. They are more convinced than if I had crushed them with disdain. They have perceived God in the miracle and in my words. And they will tell when they go back. Further, I ask you, was it not fair to reward so much faith although disconcerted by the opinion of doctors, and disappointed by useless visits to temples, they still had faith to come to the unknown one, to the great unknown one in the world, the one derided and mocked at and calumniated by Israel. And say to him, I believe you can. The first chrism to the new mentality is granted to them because they believed. I did not cure them so much of a disease as I did of their wrong faith, because I placed a chalice near their lips, and the more they drink of it the thirstier they will become, the thirst for the knowledge of the true God. I have finished. I say to you, people of Israel, have the same faith as they had.